What are birds, and are they real?
No, they're not real. Or no, hold on. Let me answer that better. Yes, they are real, and they will soon become our overlords, and I've chosen my side already on the bird revolution. Birds don't make good pets, they make good companions. Birds don't make good pets because it's like taking care of a special needs child. People are expecting to be able to train and have the bird around when it's convenient. And that's just the problem, is it's just not super convenient to have a parrot. Come on, bud. At 10 years old, I befriended a crow, and we had him for a few years. And it was interesting because the crow actually lived outside. Ozzy, his name was. A red-tailed hawk came down and plucked one of the birds out of the nest. These birds fell out, and we took it, rehabilitated the bird. It stuck around for a few years and found another flock. I loved birds after that. As an artist, I was at 10 years old. My first thing I ever did was make a bird book. I went outside and tried making a field guide, drawing the birds. Granted, it was off of stamps, I think my grandmother or mother had at the time. They're just Michigan bird stamps with like orioles and warblers. I was a professor teaching medical illustration and animation and running a little animation studio. And so I was working out of the home, and it actually provided me the opportunity to take in some birds. Beaker actually here was my first one. Hi. When I got her, she had a full body yeast infection that I didn't know about. And about 3 weeks after getting her, she got really sick, and I took her to the vet, and the vet was like, hey, with something like this, we'll probably got about 6 weeks to live. Thing is, I was syringe feeding her, I had her swaddled up, she was making recovery, and there was just a time while holding her that she looked into my eyes and said, I love you, in English, and boy, that just melts your heart. And I'm like, well, can't stop now, like, we have to make sure that you survive. Hey, dear, am I gonna have to put you back down? I was trying to showcase you. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
I was gonna say, if you want to set the dishes when you're finished with that have the chop in them, over there. Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Our adoption policy is that we don't actually adopt out to the general public. You cannot come in here with money and be like, I want to pick a bird that talks and cuddles. I think it's garbage, and it sets up. It's a consumer kind of principled idea of getting a pet, and that's just what we're against. It's just fundamentally what we're fighting against. So we set up actually a training program for volunteers and people that want to adopt. It's a 6-month training program. You go through 3 months of our initial training, and then 3 months of working with specific birds. And at the end of it, you don't actually get to choose the bird chooses you.
Not the obituaries again. When I put the papers in there, I hate it when the obituaries wind up on top. I always try to bury them. I don't want to make the birds read the obituaries. It's depressing.
Funny thing is like Kelly came in and I was like, I'm never gonna see this girl again. She came in and she's like, I don't know anything about birds, and I kind of like them. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I think it really helped out a lot because I didn't have to work on any.
You didn't have to unteach me.
I didn't have to unteach you.
Yeah,
You
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was in a bad spot in my own personal life and needed something that would make me happy. And so I came down here with another volunteer named Leah, and just to get out of the house, actually. And I've been coming 3 times a week since then. And I have 0 bird experience. I couldn't tell you, I mean, I know like a seagull. and I am now a little bit obsessed.
About 2015 or 2014, I got into a motorcycle accident. I shattered my hips in 7 places. I broke 12 ribs and hit the first tree face first. I was going about 45, and it put me out. I was bedridden for 8 months and in a wheelchair for another about year. I was actually looking for somebody else to take in these birds, but at the time they were problematic birds. I was questioning my capabilities of taking care of them, and much like in the foster system, that's very frustrating that a lot of their problems stem from instability and bouncing around, and I was the stable part in their lives. It was a really interesting thing, especially as a 30-year-old man. A lot of my worth was tied in on how I could provide and make money, and especially after the accident, that was just cut short, and so my worth was cut short, and so things like depression and anxiety set in really bad. And it was a fascinating thing, because once I started focusing on anything other than myself, that self-worth came back. Like, yeah, I couldn't, me working for me, I couldn't find it in myself to get out of bed some days because I wasn't worth it. But, well, these guys, absolutely. They're worth getting out of bed and taking care of. They need it. They won't survive without me. And through that, I ended up building up a worth in myself and actually finding something grander above myself that I could dedicate my life to. I was a 30-year-old dude with no kids and no family and a bunch of time on my hands. So it's like, if nobody else is gonna do this, I guess I'm gonna. With birds being super in tune to the ecosystems and being on every biome, that if we actually focus on saving the birds, much like the principles set up by Teddy Roosevelt in the Endangered Species Act, that it's not about keeping animals in zoos and protecting the actual animal, it's about protecting their environments so that they can thrive and survive. That if we do that, if we focus on protecting birds, we'll actually inevitably save everybody else and save the environment in whole, because they're everywhere all the time and make up such an integral part of our ecosystem that saving the birds is literally saving the fucking planet. Sorry.
So do you think you would say you're a bird brain?
Absolutely. Super analytical. I don't like change. Love super food motivated, and love shiny things. That I love giving gifts and receiving gifts like pebbles and such. Yeah, I say I'm absolutely a bird brain, and I take it as a compliment.